And welcome to another exciting episode of the Click Nation's Comic Book Chronicles.
Yay!
I am your host, Tim D-O-double-G. And tonight I'm joined by the man behind the sound effects, at agent_70 on Twitter.
What's up, everybody?
And tonight we are without two of our hosts, at PCN_Dirt and at Roddy Cat on Twitter.
They are sorely missed. We'll hopefully see them next week.
Hold it down for them. But also make sure to go to our website, theclicknation.com, where you can find previous episodes of Comic Book Chronicles and comic book reviews. Follow the Twitter account at CBCron. Like the Facebook fan page, facebook.com/theclicknation. Add us to your circles on Google+. Search for The Click Nation and join the The Click Nation community, and make sure to add us to your circles for the official page. You can subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher Radio and youtube.com/theclicknation. Make sure to give us good reviews, five-star ratings, thumbs ups, all that good stuff. Help us climb up the charts. We are part of the Cold Slither Podcast and comic-related podcasting networks. You can find them on their respective websites, coldslitherpodcast.com and comicrelated.com. Something I forget to plug almost every week, but you can read my comic book reviews on comicbookroundup.com. And while you're going to websites, go to Dirt's popculturenetwork.com. Use the hashtags CBCron or Comic Book Chronicles on your favorite social media websites. And remember, we record live every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you're at home on a Thursday night, 9 p.m., and you're not watching the NBA Finals, like a lot of people probably are tonight, just put background, let us play, let us be that background music for you. So last week was special edition New York City comic book convention held in New York City.
Yes.
Where our own Agent 70 lives and actually attended the con.
I did. So let me go into a couple of things about the con. I do not want to completely spoil the write-up that I intend to post on theclicknation.com over the weekend, so be on the lookout for that. But just a couple of quick highlights, and I'm going to show off a couple of bits of swag that I got. First, I did get my New York Comic Con ticket. After being shut out of the online sales, I was able to get my New York Comic Con multiple day pass Saturday morning at special edition. There was a huge mess of a line. You know, there was basically a horde of people trying to get the New York Comic Con tickets, and that produced a big headache. But eventually they figured out their act. You know, the security, I don't think it's the same security that works at the Javits Center, and I don't think that they were prepared for the rush of people that were there for special edition, you know, at this different venue. You know, the venue itself, Pier 94, is basically a warehouse. You know, it's not the swankiest place in the world. It's actually on the dingy side, I hate to say. So, you know, I got a lot of negative feedback from attendees and exhibitors and artists, you know, basically saying that they would much prefer to have special edition at its previous location in part of the Javits Center. But overall, what I heard from the exhibitors and the guests was that they had a good time despite all that. Despite all of the things that I just kind of complained about, they still had a good time. The show was well attended. People, exhibitors, the ones that I spoke to, made plenty of money. The lines were, reasonable, but still fairly long for a lot of the really popular creators. I'll give you an example. I picked up a print from Robbie Rodriguez. This is pretty awesome.
Oh yeah.
Some Spider-Gwen action. And Robbie
How much
Rodriguez,
did that go for?
$10.
Oh man, see, when he's gonna be at Heroes Con like next weekend, or actually,
This was a
yeah,
big
next
fat
weekend.
$10, and let me tell you, he autographed it. His line was huge because there's so many people getting Spider-Gwen stuff signed. As a matter of fact, I believe I bought a second print because he was selling them for $10 each. It's the cover to Spider-Gwen number 4, I believe, or number 3. So this is pretty cool. But I think the highlight is this print right here.
Yeah, I
This
want
is
that one.
yeah.
Radicat, if you're watching, pick me up that at Heroes Con for $10. Your payment will be the business cards that I need to make sure my brother had mailed to you. And actually, I'm gonna
Exactly.
check on
So
that now.
speaking of business cards, I still have. I didn't want uh, you guys to go to any trouble because I still have plenty of the business cards that I printed up the first time. So I'm still using those, and using those to make connections and to network at these cons. So hopefully, some of these connections that I'm trying to make will help us get more guests in the future on the show, so that we can help them promote what they want to promote. I spoke to some really cool cats who were really receptive to it, like Kari Andrews. Um, he was definitely receptive to the idea of coming on the show. So I'm gonna make sure
Oh,
to
okay.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna make sure to reach out to him. He was very cool and signed a whole bunch of Iron Fist stuff for me. He was
Yeah,
really
no, you're
yeah,
the big reader of that on the show.
exactly. So it's hard to see through the plastic bag, but he definitely signed issues of Iron Fist, the Living Weapon. Um, I'm going to say that I got a couple things. I'm not going to belabor too much of what I got signed. I did see the most of the creative team for Gotham Academy. So Becky Cloonan and Carl Kerschel signed a couple of copies of Gotham Academy. I did miss
Or
the other,
say,
yeah, the co-writer Fletcher, Brendan Fletcher, I think it is. I missed him. He was like away from his table when I went by there, and I never circled back. And of course, I said what's up to Mr. Charles Soule. I greeted him as fellow counselor of law. So he signed my last issue of She-Hulk. It says "See you in court." You can see that. But enough of that. Let me just do a quick recap of some of the panels that we had on that I attended. I attended a diversity panel. I attended a women in comics panel. I attended a how to make money in comics panel. There's a number of pretty good there's a number of pretty good panel discussions throughout both days that I thought were fairly comic centric, and that's the best part. It's all about the industry and about making way in the industry and kind of hearing how people have made their way through. I can also say that there was some news announced, and I know we're going to talk about that. And I think that's a good segue into our news section.
okay. Let's see. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Henry Simmons promoted the series regular.
That's pretty awesome.
The Walking Dead creator inks overall deal with AMC. Of course, creator is Robert Kirkman.
Cool.
Bryan Singer offers first look at X-Men Apocalypse's completed Cerebro set. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 roll up for grabs in support of charity. Let's skip around a little bit. Let's see. Green Street Hooligans Lexi Alexander to direct an episode of Arrow next season.
Okay.
Here's a special edition message or news item. Stay tuned for Bitch Planet on the big screen.
Yes, I did hear that announcement at Special Edition.
Constantine TV series officially dead. Right when his second ongoing series launches, which I read tonight. Let's see. Boom Studios Cowboy, 2 separate words. Option for TV by DreamWorks Animation. Daredevil showrunner Steven DeKnight joins Transformers Writers Room.
Okay.
Marvel drops the AKA from Jessica Jones title.
Yes, I saw that they posted that on Netflix, I guess.
Okay. And we'll have more news regarding Netflix stuff in a minute. Yes, so yeah. Speaking of which, John Bernthal, Shane from Walking Dead, cast as the Punisher for Daredevil Season 2 on Netflix. And the Season 2 logo was revealed. Bullet holes.
Yeah. What do you think of that casting,
Daredevil
Tim?
logo. He looks the part. That's all I can say.
I mean, I just hope he doesn't have that awful Southern accent that he puts on in in The Walking Dead. But other than that, I think he does look the part.
I've never watched The Walking Dead, save for a couple episodes in Season 1, so...
Well, he was still alive back then, so...
Yeah, if he was even on the show. Was he on the Season 1?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's after Season 1 that you don't see him.
Supergirl premieres October 26th on CBS.
Okay. It's nice to see that we actually have like a firm date on that now.
Comic-Con Star Wars to take over Friday in San Diego Comic-Con.
Right, well, I was about to say this is going to lead into some of the other news that we found out later in the week, but let's go on. Let's move on.
Yeah, we'll get to it when we get to, I think it's in the comic book news section.
Yeah.
I glanced at it earlier. WB Television reveals panel lineup, including DC's Legends of Tomorrow on stage and a Supergirl premiere.
Cool.
The Flash is looking to cast its own Felicity Smoke. So,
it's a new love interest, right?
Yeah, Barry Allen will have a new love interest. Some Captain America Civil War spoilers that I've not read and don't plan on really reading. If I find out, I find out, but I'm not outwardly searching for the news. I want to try to be semi-surprised for a change.
Here's some big news. This is big news. I posted. I actually put this up today when I saw it.
You had your ad name in the headline or in the notes, didn't you, for it?
Oh, did I?
I saw your name in something when I was reading through it earlier. Maybe it must have been another one.
That's funny.
But
the news. Oh, yeah, I absolutely put myself in this news. Yes, I did. I put myself in the news. That's later. But
Chiwetel Ejiofor. Hopefully I said that right.
I knew how to say this name when he was up for an Academy Award for 12 Years a Slave. Chiwetel Ejiofor. Sorry, man.
Cast as Baron Mordo in Doctor Strange.
That's big. That is big. I don't mind. Go on.
I was gonna say, as long as they don't kill him like they do every other villain that's not Loki in the movies.
Yeah. I hope they don't kill him off because Baron Mordo plays an ongoing, menace to Doctor Strange. But can we get an Asian person cast as one of the white people or something in this now? Because
they're changing the Asian person into a white woman.
Exactly. Come on now. we've got we've got Baron Mordo all of a sudden has some soul power, and come on, what's going on with the ancient one? Oh, but anyway, I'm glad to see that they're doing a little bit of flipping the script here and putting a strong actor in the role of Baron Mordo, and I think that's definitely going to play into the I'm sure the on-screen tension between Cumberbatch and Ejiofor, like putting two quality actors up against each other, and in this movie. Hopefully, that'll draw in a lot of attention from people who may not be so keen on watching Doctor Strange.
Okay. So that's it for the movie/TV news. And solicitation news. I see you already. There's some Dark Horse Comics September 2015 solicits with New Colder and a Mirror's Edge, I guess comic book series off of the video game. Got that email a day or so ago.
Yeah, that art looks really nice.
I remember the video games. I remember that was like one of the games I downloaded for free, the free trial on PS3 after I first got it.
Cool.
All right. So first thing in comic book news, San Diego Comic-Con 2015 previews exclusives revealed.
All right.
And I guess, do you want to read it or should I read it?
Give me a second, because my browser has decided to act up, and I want to pull up the news bit that I put in here because it's important. It's important because of our status as up and coming comic book podcasters and whatnot. But I wanted to talk about how Agent _70, myself, yours truly, has been denied a press pass to New York Comic Con 2015. It was all official. I got an email that says, we're sorry, but because we have so many requests, we have to raise. Basically, what they say is we have to raise our standards. And I'm like, really?
So what, you saying you got an email saying you got a pro pass and then another one?
No, I got denied. No, I got denied.
Oh, okay.
I got denied.
Oh, okay.
The way they put it is, well, we can't just approve anybody that applies.
They didn't even ask you to like send stats or whatever.
No, because I put that in.
I already said it to you, probably, I guess.
Yeah, no, you did send that to me, and I put in. I submitted that with the initial application. They asked for.
Oh, okay.
So, cool. I put all that in. We still got denied. So I do plan on reapplying later on, and I'm going to absolutely link specific links as opposed to just putting in the general link to the YouTube page that has all of our shows on it. I'm going to specifically link the shows, especially last week's shows with Frank Barbieri and the team from Broken World, and hopefully they'll see the light and approve my press pass. But at least I'll be at the show. I will be at the show.
I should have tried applying again this year, just hey, see what happens.
Well, there's still time. There's still time
for a press for New York.
Yes, there's still time. I don't believe they've closed it yet. I applied in the first application window. I plan on reapplying and just tweaking what I put into the application, and just saying, look, it's not like I need a ticket to go to the show. I'd like to go as press, But anyway.
I'm pulling up the website now, so I'll check it as we're going through here.
Yeah. That's a plan.
Let's see. I think we talked about that last week. Hasbro's exclusive book of Vijanti brings strange magic to San Diego Comic-Con.
I saw this packaging. This was pretty cool. Like exclusive Marvel Legends figures. It actually looks really nice.
Images Nowhere Men to return in the fall.
Okay.
You can get a close look at each all new, all different Marvel character images.
Yeah, all the images done by David Marquez that were released last week, just before Special Edition NYC. Marvel's let, or at least release these images as they were originally done as individual images, so that you can take a closer look at the character designs.
And speaking of images and announcements, Marvel announced a new Invincible Iron Man comic from the Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man creative team of Brian Michael Bendis, Dave Marquez, and I think Justin Ponser is the colorist.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And Marvel had a conference call and described, and on the call were Bendis and I believe Tom Brevoort, and they described what the what the premise of the comic is. And one of the things that I wanted to speak about was they are not throwing away anything that has happened in the last 2 years of Iron Man comics and in the Marvel Universe pertaining to Iron Man, which means there's still going to be some remnant, some lasting effect of the inversion and the superior Iron Man that we've been reading. So apparently, they're not, they're basically bringing Iron Man to a point in life, and that's where Bendis's run is going to start. So we're not throwing away anything that's happened before.
The art looks great for it, for one.
It is Marquez, after all. He's definitely got a lot of skill.
I'm getting distracted by a Fantastic Four teaser commercial on ABC right now. I haven't seen this.
Shame on you. Shame on you. Don't be distracted by that drivel.
Hey, actually, it looks better than I originally thought Fantastic Four would look. And it is not yet rated.
That's funny.
But yeah, I like that they're going to expand his rogue gallery, because let's face it, Iron Man's rogues aren't the best in the business.
Right. I think what Bendis said on the conference call was that they're trying to introduce or create a Magneto for Iron Man, not necessarily an arch enemy, but definitely someone who has a similar vision but a different way of doing things. And that brings them to to loggerheads. That brings Iron Man and this potential arch enemy type to to blows.
He's gonna have a new love interest. Oh, and all his armor can change into any of his previous armors.
Right. Right. So the next bit of news is kind of really should have been in the movie news, because I don't believe Marvel Publishing is going to skip Comic-Con, but it looks like Marvel Studios is going to skip San Diego Comic-Con. And that leads to Warner Brothers having a significant movie presentation and representation there.
But Star Wars or Lucasfilm will be there.
Exactly. So at least one arm of the Disney machine is going to be there.
But yeah, some people want to make it out that Marvel's running scared, and to me, it's like they don't even have anything they wouldn't have anything to show anyway. Cap 3 just started filming.
Right.
I guess they could bring out like the cast or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were saying like the same thing happened a couple years ago. I guess was it Cap 2 maybe?
Right. Right. I mean, what else could they really try to hype up? Everyone's already excited to see more Agent Carter.
It'd be TV stuff. Well, yeah, the TV stuff. I guess I'd assume they have started maybe starting up starting the film stuff for season 3 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. maybe.
Right. Right. Or they could at least do some casting introductions maybe, but maybe they're holding off on that too.
Yeah.
And there's word that they want to really get people. I thought D23 was a professional thing, but I guess it's not. I guess you can attend it. The public can attend it.
10 what?
That Disney. Is that an actual
D23?
convention? Yeah.
Yeah, supposedly it's it's been going on a couple years now.
I thought it was just like an industry thing. I was so surprised to hear that was in the works. That Marvel.
I'm industry.
I know.
Industry.
Send your press.
Funny.
Send your application.
It's funny. I'm gonna apply and not be able to go just because I have to get my own travel and hotel accommodations. Same thing with New York City, but hey, I'm gonna.
Yeah. I should. What's funny is that I should ask Dirt, see if I can apply as Click Nation through Pop Culture Network.
Hey, however, did he say to do that last year?
I think so.
Someone, yeah, I had to talk to him again.
I think so.
I'm looking at it to see if submission is received between these dates. So if I submit before June 20th, I'll hear back at least by the July 3rd. That's pretty prompt.
No, yeah, that's exactly why you see that first window. That first window was when I applied.
Oh, okay. And press registration closes August 14th, so
right.
plenty of time.
Exactly, but you don't want to wait because maybe they'll run out. Exactly, so you want to get into the next window. When's the next window closed? June what? 20th?
June 20th.
I'll try to knock it out over the weekend. Maybe I'll reach out to Dirt to see if we can work together to get the Click Nation and Pop Culture Network into the show, into New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
All right. So what do we have left
to the
in the news?
Secret Wars titles start slipping as far as release dates, because Secret Wars #4 is pushed back to, I think, beginning of July or end of June, which pushes everything else back.
Right, have they said why it's falling behind? Is it the art? Is it Ribic?
I read CBR had an interview with Hickman this morning that I read, and they asked him about it, and he went into it. He was saying that they decided to change the order of some of the issues.
Okay.
He was saying they switched 4 and 5 around. I guess what the story they were going to tell in 5, they decided to put in 4 and pushed 4 back to issue 5. And then something about the issues are selling out so much that they're going out back to that. They're debating stretching the story out longer because Marvel likes making money.
Oh well,
So it didn't seem it actually doesn't seem like it's art. Oh yeah, he did mention how issues 1 and 2 was, so they had extra stuff in them, which was going to slow stuff down anyway. So, tis what happens with these event books. I guess was it Civil War? I always remember hearing how it got pushed back when it was coming out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but McNiven's not the fastest artist either, so
Mm-hmm.
I always kind of attribute a lot of this stuff to the art because they try to get the biggest and best names, and those guys generally don't churn through. As much as I love Sal LaRocca, I wish they would put him on one of these big event books so they would always come out on time, right?
Yeah, really. Telling Roddy about that print I want.
Roddy, make sure you pull up the video of the show so you can see the print I was talking about. It's it was the cover to #1, right?
Yeah.
So,
Titan Comics secures NBC Heroes Reborn license, and IDW launches the San Diego Comic-Con art gallery with Kevin Eastman.
Alrighty.
And did my iPad go to sleep on me?
Oh no.
Variant covers. Archie #1 receives 17 retailer exclusive variants. And Invader Zim SDCC variant cover by Cora. Avatar co-creator.
Alrighty.
As I try to bring up. Oh, and of course I can't bring up the doc because I was sad to update my iPad. Let's see if I can bring it up through Google Drive. This is the portion of the show where I try to read.
I was about to say, if you can't find it, let me see if I can pull it up.
Hey, if you'd like to read a.
Yeah, I was about to say, let me see if I can pull up that folder.
It's ads, right, or scripts? I think
or something like that. I love it. You got to love this live podcasting, people.
I was like, oh, I have 20 updates on my iPad. I'll start the updates running, and so they'll be done before the show.
Yeah, I made the mistake of whatchamacallit of starting an update on my my MacBook just now, and now everything's slowed to a crawl. Love it. I love it.
Not sure what he calls it. It's
Where
ads,
is it?
right?
Shared with me.
Ads and scripts. There we go. Who can get it first?
I think you probably beat me to it.
Yeah, I got it up.
You got me. Go ahead.
This episode of the Comic Book Chronicles is sponsored by Busted Tees, your home for funny, awesome, cool t-shirts that are sure to get your friends' attention. Busted Tees puts many of their popular shirt designs on sale each week. Choose from several eye-catching t-shirts inspired by pop culture, such as Charging, Using Blanka's Power for Good, Street Fighter 2, Jarvis is My Co-Pilot, Avengers Age of Ultron, Nelson and Murdoch, Avocados at Law, Daredevil, A Tragic Comic Hero's Ending, Aquaman in a Sardine Can, Aquaman,
Oof.
Central City Running Club, The Flash, and much more are on sale. To help keep our podcast free, order from Busted Tees by going to codesforthepodcast.com. That's codesforthepodcast.com, then clicking on the Keep Our Podcast Free link. Click on the Busted Tees banner and then shop for awesome t-shirts. Busted Tees through codesforthepodcast.com. Do it today.
There you go. I promise to find that folder, and I'll take the ad read next week if I have to.
Yeah, no problem. So I'm sure you read a lot. Even though
I read a bunch. I did not fill in the sheet. I'm pulling up this week's comic list.
Necessary now. I will say I have the last 2 weeks of the Divergence era DC has made me excited to read their books so I can talk about them on the show.
Okay.
We can start with Batman number 41.
I did read that.
This is the brand new Batman, which spoilers if you don't know.
There you go.
Former Commissioner James Gordon is the new Batman that is actually working with the police department.
Mm-hmm.
Many people know his identity, and I do know that,
or at least within the police,
yes,
police force, know his identity.
Snyder, in a couple of interviews, has saying how Gotham always sends the type of villain at the hero, depending on who is Batman at the time. So Jim Gordon will have his own special set of villains to take on that will be specific to him.
Right.
Julia, I guess her name isn't. She used a different last name, but Alfred's daughter, Julia, is part of the Batman task force working with the police department.
Right.
People were praising the book for a lot of the diversity throughout. I saw Snyder getting praised for that. So there's women of color, men of color, all throughout the issue, and we're left with a tease at the very end of could Bruce Wayne be alive? Which of course he is, because he'll have to return at some point. But
yeah. But we get the cool dual costume Batman, or at least a dual uniform Batman. We have I kind of appreciated Snyder's joke in the comic about how the suit looks like a Robo Bat Bunny, because that's what everyone
Yeah.
said. Everyone said that at first glance, either that or the Tick. But it's nice to see that that's not the only Batman costume that Commissioner, or at least Lieutenant Gordon, has to don in this issue. So there's a more sleek, kind of form-fitting bodysuit type costume that he has to wear when he has to exit the bat suit for a more up close and personal action.
I'm trying to think of anything else of relevance that came up.
Well, they introduced this company that produced the Batsuit. I don't know if that was a pre-existing company or not, and the president of the company is the person that basically approaches um, the Gotham PD with this idea, of putting someone in a suit. So
Yeah. But yeah, lots of things to look forward to in the back corner of the DC universe.
it wasn't a bad start to a pretty bold new direction, if I must say.
And I followed it up by reading Batman Superman number 21, I believe it is.
Yes, this was also a very interesting issue. So basically, we have the newly depowered, or mostly depowered, Superman running into the brand new iteration of Batman in this.
And so yeah, it follows up on the Truth storyline going on through the Superman story of books.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly told from Superman's point of view. There's not too much. They keep Batman kind of as the mystery person to show up near the end, the last quarter of the issue.
Right. And what's jarring about this, and I guess I have to get used to how DC is going to be operating their multiverse, or their multiple realities, kind of all working at the same time, trying to figure out how this is supposed to be or work alongside the current Justice League, because of the dynamic between Lex Luthor and Superman in this.
Mm-hmm.
Was kind of jarring, because we just came off of, a week ago we saw them working together on as part of the Justice League, and now we have them back at odds with each other. This is a far more traditional take on their relationship.
Yeah, it did surprise me to see Luthor play a role in this.
Oh, absolutely,
hey,
absolutely.
the more the merrier.
Right. But it was nice to see a little bit of interaction between Superman and Alfred Pennyworth.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that needed to be done, because it didn't seem like we had seen Alfred really, kind of talk about what happened at the end of Endgame to anybody at this point yet, right?
Yeah.
I think this is the first time we actually see, Alfred kind of talk about it with somebody. So, I thought that was a pretty important moment. I thought that was pretty well done.
And we know at some point the new Batman and the altered Superman will have to start working together.
Oh, of course. It wouldn't be DC Comics without it.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. You want to continue on the DC run? Did you read?
We can.
Did you read? I did not read Detective Comics.
I did not either.
I did read Gotham Academy #7.
I have not yet.
I won't spoil too much. It is kind of, I am probably not spoiling too much when I say that Damian Wayne's stay at the Gotham Academy is not very long.
I didn't think so.
Right. But this episode, this issue of Gotham Academy revolves around the character of Maps and her interactions with with Damian Wayne, and it was a pretty fun issue. It's a fill-in art-wise. Ming Ju Helen Chen does the art as opposed excuse me, as opposed to Carl Kerschel, but there isn't the biggest drop off in terms of the quality of the art. It's much more of an animation style as opposed to what Kerschel brings, that kind of really heavily stylized style that we see on the painted backgrounds. Normally, I think we still have some play here, but not actually. There may be only a couple of instances where the backgrounds may have been painted, but this is far more animation influence than any of the previous art. But it's still read fairly well. Like I said, it wasn't a big surprise to see that Damian Wayne's stay at the Gotham Academy is not very long-lived. So it's kind of a two-issue and done type appearance for him. What we don't see is Olive, a Silverlock, who's pretty much our point of view character in this book. So we'll be finding out what her where her whereabouts are in the next issue. But if you're interested in just kind of a fun sort of one and done type story involving some of the characters of Gotham Academy and Damian Wayne, pick it up. It's still a pretty fun read, but I don't know if it's necessary per se for really appreciating the work that's being done in Gotham Academy. The way the book is really progressing.
All right. Let's see what I got from DC. I checked out Earth 2 Society #1.
Okay.
And it was mostly for the art of Jorge Jimenez, because he is awesome.
Okay.
But it fills in the gap of some of the gap of what happened between the Earth 2 Society, people from Earth 2 in their life rafts heading to this new planet, and I guess there's a new Batman who does a lot of narrating. You can sort of tell who it is. And as someone who didn't really read much of anything of Earth 2
Convergence.
or Convergence, I don't really know much of what was going on. But like I said, the art was great.
Nice. I'm flipping through it now. It looks pretty good.
And as long as Jorge Jimenez is on art, I'll keep reading it.
No kidding.
There was a little bit of, like, they introduced some villains. Like there was some bad person that was on one of the rafts that was trying to just sabotage some of the crash landing of the pods with the humans on it.
All right.
And I remember what else happened. That's about it, really.
All right. I mean, I'm really not interested in reading anything Earth 2. I hate to say it. So, maybe I'll flip through it just to take a look at the art.
Yeah, do that.
And I guess the last DC book that I'll mention, because I did not have a chance to read New Suicide Squad yet. The last DC book I will mention, because I actually did read it, was Starfire #1. And it's I've said it numerous times on the show. I'm a huge fan of the Wolfman Perez Teen Titans, New Teen Titans, and Starfire was introduced in issue #1 of that particular run. So this character has a place in my heart as one of my favorites, from that era of New Teen Titans, pre-Crisis. And to see here that Starfire is kind of depicted, her origin's been kind of rebooted. The New 52 origin didn't exactly do her justice, and I think this version kind of harkens back to the original origin laid out in New Teen Titans, and kind of creates a much more innocent and you know alien that's just fresh on Earth. Literally not quite fresh off the boat per se, but looking for her place in the world without the support of the New Teen Titans team. So there's a new locale that she's setting up shop in. There's a new supporting cast that they're trying to establish, namely a local sheriff, and a lot of it is fish out of water type stuff. I don't know if the story has been set up in some of the other DC books, but I can say that it's kind of refreshing to see the character of Starfire kind of go back to these roots and reestablish a nice base for her character, as opposed to the what was it, the I forget what was so wrong about the character. It just didn't read right. If you remember the New 52 relaunch.
Yeah.
Was it like the Arsenal book or something like that? Arsenal and the Outlaws, or Red Hood and the Outlaws, or something like that. So, but I can also say that the art on this is pretty good. It's Emanuela Lupacchino, which is pretty good. She has she's definitely influenced heavily by Adam Hughes, and she's got a little bit of animation and some Jim Lee as well. But she does a good job here of composing pretty nice pages.
I enjoyed her. She was the last artist on Supergirl before it ended,
Right.
which I'm like 2 issues from finishing that run. So yeah, she's been with DC for a little while.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely up to the challenge.
Definitely. She's got the chops, and she's absolutely hot in real life. But anyway. Anyway, all right. Moving on. You have any other books to talk about in DC?
The last one I read was Constantine the Hellblazer #1.
How was that?
It was cool.
Okay.
My anti-magic.
Yeah, I was about to say, do you have any background or history with the character, like outside of maybe watching the TV show once or twice?
My only history with him is reading a couple issues of Justice League Dark.
Okay. All right, so you're fairly new to the character. How did that? How was it for you, given that the character is pretty new to you?
The co-writers of James Tynion IV and Ming Doyle made it very easy for a newcomer like myself to pick it up, become familiar with the character, his personality, nuances, and it told a one and done story. Yes, it's one and done, but it continues on.
Okay.
So, and art by Riley Rossmo.
Mm-hmm. Rossmo. Yeah.
It's another added addition to it. But
That's
yeah,
an interesting first page.
Yeah.
That is an interesting first page.
They had to up the rating of it to like whatever NC-15.
Yeah, just based on that, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's from the first page and a couple like stuff like as it goes on.
Yeah. I'm starting to see that flipping through. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to give this a read over the weekend. That's interesting. Interesting. All right. Do you have any Marvel books you want to talk about? I was kind of underwhelmed by some of the Marvel stuff that was out this week.
Yeah, I commented on that, I think, earlier in the week. Yeah, there's a very slow week for Marvel.
I don't know if it's very slow. I would disagree with very slow, but I think it was an underwhelming week because we're so used to getting our socks knocked off, by some of the stuff that's happening in Secret Wars and like the end of Time Runs Out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I did not have a chance to read Ghost Racers. That's another book.
Yeah, I didn't make it to that either.
I could tell you what I did read. First, what I read was, and I know that Dirt had a very good, had a positive take on this book, and it made me pick it up. It made me open it up myself. This was Captain Marvel and the Carol Corps. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah, Captain Marvel and the Carol Corps #1. And I read this, and I firmly agree with Dirt. I think this is one of the stronger issues so far, and I was pleasantly surprised because I did not think I was going to enjoy this as much as I did. You know, I'm a fan of the character, and I'm a fan of what DeConnick has done with the character. But you know, this basically takes Carol Danvers and puts her smack into her superhero slash military pilot role, like literally puts her right into that. And I thought it was very well done. I thought that, you know, the way her interaction with, I guess, a former member of this particular sector on Battle World,
Hmm.
the one who becomes, spoiler alert, ding, ding, ding. Let me get to the bell. The one who's become a Thor. I thought that was pretty well done because obviously this is a character that we've seen in the regular run of Captain Marvel. But I can definitely say that you know, there was a couple of thought-provoking things in here, because if there's one thing that you have to get used to when you're reading these Battle World issues, these Secret Wars issues, is that everyone refers to Doom as God, and Doom has set up a kind of rules of physics, rules of existence. Certain parameters are set by Doom so that the you know, disbelief in anything other than what Doom says is suspended. And what we have here is a kind of a cool uh, time for someone to actually sort of snap out of it and question what reality is now. And I really admired that about how they kind of work that in kind of naturally into the story. You know, how it came about, as opposed to, you know, maybe some of the heavy-handed stuff that we saw in Convergence. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where it was just like, well, you know, you have to fight now, so here's your thing. Well, you know, we're starting to get we get characters who see some of the cracks in reality as Doom has set it up. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Dirt also said he enjoyed this issue. So from
He
his
got me to
recommendation
read.
alone,
Yeah,
I was gonna give it a read, but you enjoyed it also. So
yeah.
it
Go ahead
shall
and
be
read it.
read this weekend. That Ghost Racer, Racers, and there's a couple of other. Uh, I guess I wasn't too crazy about Spider Verse #1, but I'll flip through the second issue.
Yeah, I didn't like Spider-Verse #1. I don't know if I'm gonna give #2 a shot, but I know that it's Spider-Gwen centric. Um, Speaking of Spider-Gwen, you know, obviously this past weekend was huge Spider-Gwen stuff for me. You know, meeting the creative team of Jason Latour and Robbie Rodriguez. Right. I did also get my book signed by Latour and Rodriguez, and that was pretty cool. And let me tell you, there was actually a couple people on the line who were getting uh, like second, third, fourth, fifth printings of the what was it, the Spider Verse book, her first appearance,
Spider Verse
Spider Verse
2, I
#2,
believe.
right?
Edge
And
of Spider Verse.
yeah, exactly. And I can definitely say that you know, I was one of the people that was able to get her first appearance signed, and that was pretty cool. You know, first appearance, first print, gotta love it. Um, but this week saw the release of Spider Gwen #5, and uh, I enjoyed this issue because what it does is it delves into this universe's version of the Black Cat. It's an interesting twist on the Black Cat character, and how um, it's sort of it sort of puts the Black Cat character in. You know, it's funny that there's a Gem in the Holograms comic out now, but it puts it puts the Black Cat character into a rival music band to the Mary Janes here, and it's almost like you know, a Gem in the Holograms versus the Misfits type of thing. But you know, that's another thing. But you know, I really like the way this book kind of flips everything on its head and comes up with really creative ways of changing, these characters, but still keeping enough of a familiar ring to them that we can identify them. It's cool to see everything coming from Gwen's perspective, but this issue is really about the Black Cat of this universe and how she has become what she is now, and what Daredevil, or at least the character of Matt Murdock, what what that character does in this universe as an employee, as the representative of the Kingpin. It's a well done story. Listen, if you haven't been able to get into this yet, I suggest you do. We're into a lot of this alternate universe stuff already. So if you're not into the alternate universe stuff, maybe this isn't for you. But since we're neck deep in Secret Wars now, give it a shot. I recommend it. It's a fun read.
Okay. Yeah, I'm mad that I didn't get to. I mean, there's only so many books you can get to in a day, really.
Same.
But yeah,
Same.
Spider-Gwen and Silk. I was disappointed I didn't get time to fit them in.
Yeah, I did not get a chance to read Silk this week either. Let's see here.
Of course, this is where the idea of my, doing reviews late or doing little like Periscope reviews would come in. But
we only have so much time.
There's still time. I can still do this stuff.
Did you read Descender this week? I know you're a big fan of that.
That was another one I was gonna get.
Oh man,
I got Chrononauts in though.
Okay, what do you think of
that? It may be my click of the week.
No kidding.
So this was issue 4, the finale for now of the series. Mark Millar said it will return this time next year. So I guess maybe every summer type deal, which also gives Sean Murphy, the artist, time to go do other projects.
Right.
Basically wrapped up all the little lingering plot holes of, these two guys messing with the time stream, and brought back up things from the first issue, like dealing with Corbin's dad and just his own family issues. Mm-hmm. Has a nice happy ending.
No kidding.
I'm kind of curious to see, like, when it returns next year, what do they do to go on another time traveling adventure? Because basically, what they are the first time traveling reality TV stars. Because like the whole thing is taped for reality TV.
Right.
But but yeah, it's a fun series. 4 issues. Makes for an easy read. Great art by Murphy. Highly recommend.
Cool. Very cool. I like it. Like to hear it. So, did you have a chance to read Captain America and the Mighty Avengers number 9? The last issue?
But I see Roddy Cat did.
Yes. And it seems that Roddy Cat is a big fan of this issue.
Did you read it?
I liked it. I did. I liked it. This is, speaking of Broken World, the book that we talked about last week with the creators, when it comes down to how people act at the end of the world, right? Or the perceived end of the world. And it was kind of funny that in the wake of having the creators of Broken World on last week, we actually see what's probably the book that has portrayed what the end of the world was like for its heroes here. This is probably the first in a series of the what is it, the Last Days? Isn't that the banner that's on these?
Yeah, Last Days. Right.
So it's probably the first in a series of books that are going to describe how characters are dealing with the perceived end of the world. And I liked that there were, just a few really human moments in this, and it just, it definitely put a nice bow on the story because we get to see what some of these characters are thinking about in their final hours, and how they kind of put a lot of that aside to be heroes, to face whatever it is that they have to face. And we see some of the non-powered people who are working with the Mighty Avengers, who man the hotline. Basically, how they deal with the end of the world and the people who are calling, and what kind of calls they might be fielding. When everyone seems to know when it's all going to end. And I thought that was pretty well done. I don't know if I agree with Roddy on how much I like this. It was good. I don't know if it's the best I read this week, but it was good. I like it. I liked it.
Okay. Yeah, I enjoyed Al Ewan's Mighty Avengers / Captain America and the Mighty Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
Not too excited about his Captain Britain and the was it Mighty Defenders
Right.
Secret World book he has coming up, just because some of the characters in it I don't really are familiar with, but it's by him, so hey, I'll give it a read.
Right. All right.
But yeah, this didn't really need to be. It got off to a bad start.
Yeah.
Captain America and the Mighty Avengers, because it tied in the horrible Axis storyline, and then it's like the Sam Wilson Captain America that we'll introduce everybody to in this book will be the inverse version of him.
Exactly.
He's
He'll be a big
evil.
jerk face for a couple of issues.
Yeah, jerk face. Big jerk face. We'll go to the jerk store.
Exactly. I got inverted. Now I'm a jerk face. But that's that was a kind of a tough start. I could tell you that we had a couple more. I'll probably try to treat these we're not. I don't think we're in rapid fire just yet, but we might be getting close.
We're getting close for me.
Inferno #2, I tried to read. It was tough. I'm gonna have to try to sit down and work my way through it. It seemed a lot more dense this issue than the last. I did like, and I'm gonna tell you what was dense, but I liked how it was. I liked how it was written. I liked how it read. Was Inhumans Attilan Rising #2.
That was fun.
You did read it?
Yeah, I read that.
This issue
had a guest appearance that I wasn't expecting.
Right. This issue is a serious contender for me for Click of the Week, because I was pleasantly surprised at how much I enjoyed this. It's a serious contender because I was honestly pleasantly surprised that I would enjoy this kind of story, and this way of depicting Black Bolt, and like you said, this guest star that appeared that was just so totally well done. If this character is written like that in the future in the regular 616, when it finally all comes together, that's going to be awesome.
I think I've made that selection in my fantasy booking for creative teams in all new, all different Marvel Now.
Because let me tell you, this is this book. I was pleasantly surprised by this. And because look, it's Charles Soule. He has something going on with these Inhumans characters. He's got a way of working with them. He's got something. He's got a little bit of he's got something in the bottle that he's bottled up now.
Yeah. I love John Tim's art in this.
Yes.
He did like a 2 or 3 issue arc on Nova. Is how I became familiar with him before he did this. But his art's even better in this than in Nova.
It was dynamic. It was that what I loved is that there was a couple of panels with the guest star that we're talking about, the unexpected guest star, that were just so very well done. Very, very well done. And I like the fact that we see in this issue, and I'm not spoiling anything, it's issue #2, we see a lot of Black Bolt talking. Even though this is an alternate reality version, it's still pretty cool to see him talking and kind of, being what I guess he's always thinking. So this is a definite contender for Click of the Week for me. I really liked reading this.
I wonder if that'll carry over into all new, all different. Him being able to speak.
Or maybe what they'll do is they'll create a real quiet room that gives him the more opportunity to speak, right?
Possible. I think I had some other thing to point out. So yeah, this is if you want your Secret Wars series that will tie very closely into some of the events of the Secret Wars main series. Attila and Ryzen looks like a place to look.
Mm. Yeah, there's so many Secret Wars books out this week. I did not read Marvel Zombies. I did not read Mrs. Deadpool and the Howling Commandos, although it's on my list because it's supposed to carry over, or at least some elements of it are supposed to carry over into the Marvel Universe after Secret Wars.
Right, they're supposed to get their own series.
Right, so I want to at least see what's, what the setup is in, in this first issue. Let's see if there's
And the only reason I was gonna give Marvel originally when I heard about Marvel Zombies, I didn't care one bit. But Kev Walker is doing the art, so gotta give it a read for that.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't read 1602 Witch Hunter.
I probably
Angela.
won't.
You know what I did? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I just don't really care too much about Angela, so just yet.
Gotcha. Another strong contender for Click of the Week for me is Silver Surfer number 12.
Okay.
And there was just as a quick recap. So basically, the Silver Surfer and Dawn Greenwood have run into he basically ran into a planet of refugees that had escaped planets that he had drawn Galactus to as a herald while he was a herald of Galactus, right? So basically what happens is that Galactus comes and devours the world that these people are on, and the Silver Surfer finds himself duty bound. He's obligated to find these people a new world, and what he finds them is a world where everything is gold and honey, and just the most ideal world that you could ever live on. But it turns out that it's all a trap. Cue Admiral Akbar. It's a trap. Hold on. Where's the laugh track, damn it?
It's a trap.
So, it turns out to be a trap. And, I thought that was it was a pretty cool trap to spring on these poor people who had basically had everything taken away from them. And, we find out that paradise isn't what it seems. So we have a nice little ending to this particular arc of the book that involves finding these refugees a place to live, and it looks like we're on our way back to Earth, or at least whatever may pass for Earth. Because the next issue teaser is Last Days of the Silver Surfer, and the image is an image of the outline of eternity, but with the face and mask of Doctor Doom. So it looks like.
When I hear eternity, I think of He-Man.
No, Eternia. No, yeah. No, the character
Right.
The character Eternity, the Marvel character. So. That's it's interesting to see how the Silver Surfer is going to play into the last days of the Marvel universe. Excuse me, but this issue was very strong, very well done. It's a definite candidate for Click of the Week for me.
Nice. All right. Let's see what else. Weird World #1.
Did you read it?
I read it.
What'd you think? Because I just finished reading it before the show started.
It's like more. Axel Alonso always likes to talk about when you get when you have the creative team put it together and it just comes together so perfectly. This is one of those perfect castings. Jason Aaron gets to tell this sort of like crazy barbarian type story surrounded by all these weird monsters and creatures, which allows the artist Mike Del Mundo to go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a beautiful looking book. If you know Aaron, he can write these complex, like savage characters like Thor and like the 3 versions of Thor and his Thor God of Thunder series. So that's what it reminded me of when I started. Like midway through the book, I was like, yeah, Jason Aaron is writing Thor, did write Thor. So this is
Mm-hmm.
kind of a similar type character. And then we,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the issue, we find out who the Baron of Weird World is.
Right.
I was gonna say something else, but that would maybe spoil
Yeah.
something.
Spoil a little bit, maybe. I
The
liked
Baroness of
exactly.
Weird World.
But let me tell you, I like the art in this. I didn't think I would be able to follow it as well as I did, but it was more than it read very well. From panel to panel, the art was very nice. Um, you
Arc-
don't. I was gonna say Archon. It doesn't really matter that you don't know much about Archon.
Yep. Don't need to
You
know.
know? Yeah, exactly.
He's a
Although,
guy trying to stay alive in this weird place.
right, weird world. And honestly, my favorite page of the book is the page where you turn to Archon's map.
Archon map. I don't know why I haven't speaking like the Hulk.
Archon's map. I thought that was hysterical. That's one of the best pages I've seen in a while. I got a real kick out of that one. That's his map of Weird World. I thought that was pretty well done. So I mean, it's not it's not a candidate for click of the week for me, but I was it read very well for me. It was a pretty pleasant surprise for me.
Okay. The last book I've read was, make sure this is the last book. Yeah.
Did you read Ultimate End?
No.
That's confusing. This book is confusing.
But we'll find out what it all means in issue 4 or 5. Bendis said.
Oh well, I don't know if I'm gonna. I guess we'll. I guess because of our position as comic book reviewers, we will have the opportunity to read it. But if we were just simple consumers, I don't know if I would stick with it that long. It's kind of tough to read.
And yeah, I heard a hero died in it.
Yeah.
Screenshots.
Yeah. Somebody dies in it. It's somebody that apparently every time, Bendis does something Avengers related, he wants to kill this particular character. So there's a hint for you. Mild spoiler alerts. Think back to whatchamacallit, to New Avengers. You know what I'm saying? Or the end of the Avengers Disassembled. So that's that.
Oh yeah, I was saying Inferno. Yeah, I ain't saying anything about Inferno 2 yet, did I?
I mentioned it. Did you read it?
Yes, that was the last book I read for the week. I liked it a lot more than issue 1. Issue 1, I was kind of just like,
really?
Yeah,
I thought this was more
dense
than the first issue. I had a tough time kind of reading it.
I enjoyed the callbacks to Cable and X-Force back, a book Dennis Hopeless wrote.
Okay.
But yeah, Colossus is gonna team up with the former Lord over Inferno, Madeline Pryor, the Goblin Queen. She's gonna help. Both of them are gonna team together to get to to meet their goals. Colossus wants to save his sister Ilyana. Goblin Queen Madeline Pryor wants to get back control over Inferno.
Mm-hmm.
We meet Madeline Pryor's son, which was a fun couple of scenes. And if you can think back to Lineage, you can figure out who that character is.
Right.
And yeah, I think that's about it. The art by Javier Garan is still good.
Okay.
And yeah, I like what Hopeless is doing here.
All right. I'm gonna try to read it again. Maybe I wasn't reading as carefully as I should have. I was on my way home, and I kind of got lost in the pages, and I didn't want to keep going. I kind of skimmed my way through it. I'm going to have to try to sit down and read it. But I felt like the first issue read a lot easier than this one did.
Really? Okay.
That's how it felt to me. That's, like I said, that's if I made my way through Attilan Rising, which was just as dense, I felt, but it just read so much better.
Gotcha. That's it for the stuff I've read.
Yeah, I think so. That's it for me too. I guess we're at the click of the week. Clicks of the week.
Click of the week. Clicks of the week.
Did Dirt
We can say he did not.
Okay.
But Roddy Cat sent his in, and he's going with Captain America and the Mighty Avengers #9.
Nice.
Slightly edging out Silver Surfer #12.
Good call. Good call. He had two good candidates.
I myself chose. Looking over it one more time, because you almost tilting
Swayed.
it. Yeah, what I originally was thinking.
Well, what was I going to sway it to?
You're almost swaying me towards Inhuman Attilan Rising #2. The more I think about it.
See, I love it. I love it.
They said to go with your first choice, but I did enjoy that issue.
I love it. That's awesome.
I'll stick with what I chose since it was the finale for now, and that's Chrononauts #4.
There you go. That's good. That's a good choice. And I'm going to go with what I almost swayed you to, which was Inhumans Attilan Rising #2. Pretty good issue. One of the more well done Secret Wars tie-in books. It just tells a great story and really explores these characters. And I think it helps that Charles Soule is the regular writer for the Inhumans series anyway.
Makes sense.
So, that's I definitely appreciate the series, and I'm glad that it read so well for as dense as it looked, for as many words as showed up on the page. I really enjoyed reading it, and I love that Roddy actually sent us tweeted out that he also enjoyed reading Starfire #1. Kudos to Palmer and Palmiotti. Is it Palmer? Oh, Connor. Right, it's Amanda Connor.
Amanda Connor.
Right. Connor and Palmiotti on that, and as well as Lupacino on art. Let's see, what else did Roddy say? Oh, well, of course, he's got to remind us that Doom is eternal. Yes, we know, Roddy. We know.
Oh,
cool.
Using the hashtag that you all should be using.
That's right. Comic Book Chronicles, hashtag Comic Book Chronicles, or hashtag CBChron. All right, I think we can head on home. A slightly abbreviated show after we were on for like hours and hours last week.
I look at it like this. This gives me more time to read.
That's right.
Read the stuff I missed out on.
That's right.
All right, so make sure to follow us on our individual Twitter accounts. I'm at TimDOGG98 and at CBChron. Agent 70 is at Agent_70.
Yeah.
Dirt is at PCN_Dirt. And go to his website, popculturenetwork.com. And Roddy Cat is at Roddy Cat and at News Nerds Need. And with that, we'll be back next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursday night. Make sure to tune in or watch the replay or listen to us on the audio podcast or video podcast, either or.
Get our downloads up.
Get the downloads up. And we are the Comic Book Chronicles, and we are signing off.
Hey!